these years, like what, let's say the last 2 decades, I have been really noticing that my sense of wonder and gratitude are just huge. And that being, I think the best word for it is gratitude. So, so glad to be alive and so amazed at the generosity of life itself. And that even when I embarrass myself, and it's very hard for me to think of just the last week when an extremely close friend of mine, a great who died, and a great kind of tribute to him is being organized, and that they wanted me to say something. That words are coming very hard for me. Often I think that I should keep you with me, or maybe I should have a little picture of you there, because I'm not finding it difficult to talk right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Pat and John, right there,
in your pocket.
One of my reflections about the human condition is that all of us either die young or we die a bit at a time, and it's too late to die young. And so watching the bits dying one after the other and wondering what's going to come next.
The other thing that I find is that even a conversation with the two of you, I will remember, I'll find things that I wouldn't on my own, and the language and the facility to go deeper into inquiry or whatever depends on the people, and that sense of the embedded self in each of us, in all of us rather, creates something that on my own I don't always have access to. And that I've been really appreciating, John, your discussion about we're not just dealing with the eco self, we're looking at the kind of embedded community self, and that this work very much grows and nourishes that, so that at any time no one person has to carry it all, no one person has to know it all. And when we get together, we can harvest, we can kind of be that, that group self, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that's great.
I should show you. I'm going to show you the cover of a book that just came out, where they there's quite famous psychological therapists and psychologists. He's very highly regarded, has seriously proposed, and he has a book, I'll show you the book, a new pronoun, muy, which means me and we, but there's a we inside of us.
Yeah. No, I get that completely. It's back to Descartes and chopping us all up into I, you, me.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed in my workshops of late, Joanna, I mean, it's been creeping up on me all along, but I've noticed that the sense of amazing intimacy that everybody shares every single time, by the time you get to the last sharing circle on Sunday afternoon, when someone will say, I have to go to work tomorrow in this office building without any windows. Can't we all just get married and go on from here together? You know, like people feel that after less than 48 hours together. And you know, when I look at what the outcomes of the workshops are, the promise on the flyer is about ecological identity and experiencing a deeper connection with the earth. And those things certainly happen, but far more visible and far more dramatic is the change in relationships with the other people with whom we've just shared these processes. And I've started asking people to, while it's still alive for them, because it's so ineffable, it's as ineffable as a psychedelic. It's so hard to remember what that feeling is like. But in a way, when I think about ecological identity, instead of just thinking about our relationships with the non-human world, I realize that as a social species, the first link in our ecological identity is the circle of people around us, is like our people, is part of our ecological identity. And that's kind of, I don't know where to go with that exactly, but that's what's been growing in me, is the sense that this may be the most important piece in an age when artificial intelligence and other things are making it very difficult to trust anything that we see on the screen, or anything, you know, the disinformation that's going on and so on, and that it becomes more and more important to actually be able to trust other living human beings standing in front of us, or something like that.
Wow, you are articulating what makes me want to keep on living at 94. You are totally with what I wonder. I just saw a wonder. I wish I had it right here to show you. It's a cartoon of the universe, and the universe is sort of under the water. And holding up, the universe holding up her hands over the water, but you just see the fingers, and the universe is trying to get through to these fingertips that think they're separate individuals.
Wow.
It's so adorable, because the universe is under the water, and it's just holding up these like this, and they think they're separate.
Yeah.
And that's been true of the work that reconnects, or deep ecology work, from the get-go.
Yeah.
And whether we're conveying the laughter of discovery, or the grief, sharing the grief and tears, it's all this one escape hatch from the terrified, separate, bloated little ego. Separate, yeah. Maybe that's our best contribution. Yeah.
I go with that. Yeah. I just keep coming back to the fact that we're embedded ourselves. All our different selves are like that nested hierarchy of embedding, so that, you know, that we can, if we're not careful, we can cut off the sense of being part of that other nest. And that's where the fingers are going, oh, there's nobody here, you know, oh, I'm all alone. Oh, you know, oh, everybody hates me, you know. and just, I think humor is just such a good way to kind of convey that, you know, not philosophical discourse, but people will get it. They will, you know, and they do get it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just getting the picture from that metaphor that you told us, that cartoon, Joanna, that maybe you could then say that the experience of the workshop is like either watching the hand emerge from the water so that the four fingers see that connectedness, not as a theory, but actually there it is in front of us, or perhaps even better, that the water is receding, that whatever it is that's been drowning our ability to recognize this, and the fact that it's always been like this. It's not that this is something new. This is just how things are. But because of the existence of this water, whatever that is, we're unable to recognize it.
And this is so, you know, I'm worried about how scary or how what the future will bring in terms of fear, because fear is the thing that makes us lose sight of our commonality. And I sort of have an ache for developing in the work as to, you know, it's not, it can't happen through me now, but to simply work together. Maybe it's my time in Sri Lanka that saw how powerful it was. Sarvodaya, all awakening together. That's what it means. And how they did that. What impressed me about this movement was that they went into a village and got people, or a quarter of the town, got people to physically work together or build something. You know, when somebody holding on to the planks you're trying to saw apart, or just anything that where you're even building a bookcase or cooking up a meal to share with people. Just the need for that, because I think the times of fear will continue, if not grow more scary.
Yeah. In the conversation, both in Britain and here, you know, come from Britain to here, is about building resilient community. How do we anticipate that things are going to continue falling apart, and, you know, will the pumps run dry and the cars stop running, or well, yeah, we don't know how it's going to be, but that anticipating that things will change and that our normal is not going to be the normal in 10, 20 years. And very much for me, you know, landing here, the place that I've really connected deeply with wonderful people in Tasmania is through permaculture, and there's a permaculture centre that's called Reseed. There's a woman there who runs Active Hope every Sunday online. They've done quite a bit of the work that reconnects. And there's a lot of working together for food and for kids and films and culture and arts and crafts. And it's just a little centre. There's maybe, you know, I don't know, 10 people running it, but they're within the permaculture movement in Australia, which is where it started. In fact, it started just down the road from me. Bill Mollison comes from Burnie, which is just, you know, 30 miles away. The permaculture network is very embedded in the land and in people creating their own communities, their own gardens, their own community gardens, their own food sharing systems. And that is a natural kind of part of this work, in a way. It kind of grounds it into what you're talking about. And there's a lot of people studying, you know, they're very much an educational system. And Morag, who's hosted John and I really well and is supporting John and I, you know, they are constantly running online courses and physical courses. So,
and what's it called?
Permaculture. Well, their organization is the Permaculture Education
So it's the
Institute.
permaculture, yeah.
And they call themselves the Education Institute. They're based in Queensland. And it's just looking at who are the parts of this bigger body that's going to be the resilient community. And that's local. That's got to be local,
I just want to say something more about this before. See, I really think that things are going to get a lot harder. And that the terror, the need, the suffering, the anguish, the sense of loss, which will happen as what we call climate change, but it's not a big enough word. And so we can prepare, or we can get used to seeing each other as treasures of connection. We can get used to being inventive about how we even see another human. The great danger is, of course, that we'll compete and that we'll take our disappointment and anguish and hunger and hurt out on each other. But right now, things are we have a little time, and that we can, aren't there ways that we can stock up on and brush off and see what we treasure, so that we can, and even rehearse, and even find, and even fall in, there are more occasions to fall in love with each other. Just working together, carrying seeds and water onto dry land or whatever, to rehearse somehow what are the ways we want to be together when things get hard. So I want that kind of conversation, and I'm so far not really finding it here. Maybe the people that come to, I've always had a dark streak of seeing, maybe it comes from the nuclear work, that how close we are to Armageddon, and also to burning ourselves up like that. And we're still so dumb. So I think that I want to, anyway, I'll shut up.
Oh, don't shut up. That's so beautiful, Joanna, and so important. Thank you.
Yeah, indeed.
That's right. It's taking it seriously. See, some people say we feel good together. Well, feel good, schmeal good, it doesn't matter. We have life in our hands. It can go out. We have instruments that we can obliterate life on this planet if we're scared enough and stupid enough. And this is very precious time. And we have some tools, and some from the deep ecology work, which is my favorite name for it. But at any rate, maybe this is,
Joanna, I'm also carrying an invite from the network here. And I didn't want to sort of put it on you as well as inviting to the facilitator network session, but it kind of comes into this conversation. And Shah, I was pretty sure it's Shah who organizes they're called the Deep Ecology Conversation Cafe sessions.
So it's the work that reconnects.
in the US or with you?
Work that reconnects conversation cafes, right? And she's invited.
But I mean, this French, are you talking about down under or here?
Over there, Joanna, a woman called Frida is our connection with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I think you know
Oh,
her.
okay. Yeah, and Shah here has asked if we could invite you to a conversation cafe with the wider community. So it's not just this country; it'd be wherever, you know. And this would be a brilliant conversation. This would be, you know, how do we carry forward?
Maybe we could edit the video of what we've just done so that it's just short enough that people will look at it and just include the gems that Joanna has shared with us in the last 15 minutes. I don't know. I'd be happy to work on that, Pat, or work on it with you.
Yeah.
And that people would need to see that before they could join that conversation. So this would now be the background.
Yeah.
This would be the reason why we're having that conversation. It's in order for us.
I would be so thrilled.
Yeah, great.
I would be so thrilled with that.
Okay, great. Well, that's something, John, you and I can just pick up and see how it could go. How it
For
could
sure.
go, and the conversation cafe session. I mean, I really want to go deeper into this, because how, you know, I'm in suspended disbelief that it's going to happen. It's kind of like, oh, really? And then
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's happening.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But what's the great unraveling?
Yeah.
Well, that is happening.
Yeah.
But what about the great turning, which is a great turning toward each other?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Great.
The sense that I get, guys, is that living in a time like this, there are really two things that I need to be doing. And one of them is, given that after 4,000 million years, I may be the last moment in this amazing saga, I have to devote at least half of my time to celebrating and thanking and just remembering what an amazing trip it's been, 4,000 million years. And so it's possible that this is goodbye, and making the best of this goodbye that I possibly can. And on the other hand, it may not be goodbye. 4,000 million years, we've faced many challenges. And so maybe we're going to come up with what it takes to get through this one. And so then the other half of the time has to be spent working on that, which I think is what, what you've been saying just now, Joanna, is the root of that work, is that we have to do this together. We have to find each other, and Savodaya, all awakening together.
And it's I think it's like childbirth. Something. What needs to happen is as big as having a baby. We're going to come together and generate something, and we can be realistic enough to go beyond what we think is possible. Because otherwise we're just duds.
Yeah.
Wiping our tears in our noses while we feel good together, when actually we're on a gangplank.
I just see that when we do get together, and the deeper we go together, the higher we can sing and celebrate together, the more emergent properties that we don't know, we don't have any idea about, the things we haven't thought about or we haven't understood, the emergent properties, we're energizing that together. And it's kind of somehow like catching some of those and bringing them into form and naming them and sharing that process to keep making it and to see where it goes. And to me, that's what gives me a sense of kind of jumping up and going, hey, you know, I'm alive, what's emerging, what's next? And you know, we might all be on a gangplank together, but hey, let's jump up and down and see what we can cook up.
Precisely. Yeah, that's no, this is not to be seen as medicine or a spoonful of no. But it's turning toward each other with I don't know, that in itself would be interesting. How can we turn, because the terror of our situation, that we are a species on this planet which is suffering these huge dislocations around breathable air and enough water, et cetera, et cetera. And we're so busy we're still so busy preparing our weapons to destroy, that can destroy life in a blink. You know, well, you know all this, but it would be some way if we could feel a quality of determination. And now I feel a lot of a determination because I'm going to die soon. Well, maybe I felt the same when I had a lot of time. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm contributing anything right now.
Joanna.
Oh, far from it.
Reflection, just even to not know and ask your questions, watching you asking your questions, you know. And wow, you know, how do we grow and clarify our quality of determination? How do we look after that?
That's right. I like that. I like that word, determination. And to actually see how flimsy are our chances, given who we are and what we're doing and what's happening to the planet. If we could just see not only that this is chance, but also that it's right there within us. If we could look at each other with what?